There. Now we're going. Sorry? Are you okay? We're taking a walk along Singapore's rail corridor, a place where nature meets the remnants of history. This beautiful garden rail corridor stretches across Singapore up to 24 km, and you can walk on the entire expanse. But today we're going to be just exploring the part where we're going to be taking a look at the old preserved railway station from 1932. I feel so grateful for the gift of being able to observe my daughter, watching her move through the train tracks, and also seeing all the things that I don't see. As I observe her taking one step at a time, I feel like she's showing me how to slow down and also take in everything that is around me instead of rushing. Within me, I am noticing so many different feelings, whether it is the physical heat or the amount of time left. These are things that are not even present in a child's mind.
Yeah, it's still balancing. Let's go together.
Speaking of observation, it all starts with the little things, like the way the rail tracks stretch out in front of us, guiding our steps, and it's not often what we see with our eyes alone. It's also about what we notice inside ourselves as we walk. As we walk, I can't help but observe her curiosity, the way she holds her balance, the way she interacts with the world. It really reminds me of the importance of just staying grounded and being open to exploration. In a very fast paced environment that we are living in, I do notice that I'm often holding my breath, trying to figure out what is the next to do that I need to finish or to complete. And being with my kids, I'm trying my best right now to slow down and allow things to unfold, where I no longer am tied to time, but instead I'm tied to their discoveries, their curiosities, and their ability to share with me what exactly is holding their interest at this point in time. Because I find that one of the reasons why so many of us have such poor attention span is because we are often interrupted, whether it's interrupted by our own internal process or interrupted by something external that we find and we see. As a result, many of us are unable to sustain attention for longer than a short 30-second video. I'm so guilty of finding myself just doom scrolling on Instagram and noticing that I no longer can hold my attention longer than 5 seconds for a video. Now, right now, at this point, as I'm doing this voiceover, we're at the 4 minute mark. And if you're still here with me, well done. Your attention span is definitely higher than mine. So, where am I going with this conversation exactly? I think whenever the word observation comes into mind, and if we pair it together with the word art, we're always thinking about observing our subjects, observing what exactly is in front of us, what we want to translate and paint, and observing a photograph. Now, I want to turn your attention to not only observing what's on the outside, but starting to observe what's on the inside as we are creating and making art. In a minute, you'll be getting a glimpse of a sketchbook session that me and my daughter had sitting down at this rail corridor park and wanting to capture the essence of our walk and that one thing that really attracted our attention throughout our time here. I'm also going to be sharing some of my recent observations with my own internal feelings when it comes to creating, how it has evolved from the time I started and where it is right now today. The first time I picked up a brush, I had no clue that it was going to be more than just painting flowers on a paper. I didn't know that it also involved a lot of therapy for me where I had to battle with my own perfectionist demons, my own need for control. There were so many internal feelings that I had to face head on in order for me to sustain this creative craft. Not many artists talk about this, but for every painting that makes the cut on YouTube or Instagram, there lies a different stack of art pieces that didn't. And those are often the ones that face the most amount of frustration, discouragement, and often the ones that really makes us question whether we should continue this craft or not. Taking out this sketchbook, one of the things that I started to worry about was, will I be able to get the perspectives right? What am I even doing? I have no idea how to actually paint from real life, especially when it comes to landscapes. What is my daughter going to think of this? As I was battling all of these internal observations and I watched my child just dive in and draw whatever she fancied, it started to make me think about when these fears that adults hold come about. Why do we even hold on to all of these fears, and how is it really serving us, especially when we want to create freely? I remember the time where I first started watercolor. I was so much kinder to myself because there were no expectations and all I wanted to do was to put paint on paper. With time, this has evolved and changed where I now feel a lot more complex feelings where sometimes I felt it wasn't good enough or I wish that things could be better or I was pushing myself to progress beyond what I could do. Pressure that I place on myself with the experience that I have, plus also hosting a community and teaching online. A part of me wishes sometimes that I could just go back to the good old days where I could just be playing and not really caring about what I thought about my own work, just like how my child was doing it just next to me. The more I was doing the sketch, the more I noticed that I decided to just let my hand guide me. And this is exactly the type of practice I've been focusing on lately. Instead of making flowers, I would let the paint do the job for me. I would let the colors interact. I wanted to see what could happen. That level of experimentation and curiosity and openness internally opened so many more doors for me to have more fun with that creative process. I also started to try and observe the balance between my right brain and my left brain, giving them each a chance to share and speak as I am painting. This is the tricky bit because many of us are very logical and we want to get to specific outcomes, and sometimes we also fall in this trap where we don't want to waste time to create or practice or play. However, when you actually prioritize play, practice, and just having fun with mixing paints or creating with no objective, this is really where you start to notice new feelings of satisfaction because of the joy that it brings. So let's go back to the question, are you happy? And does this truth really impact the way you see how you create now and how you see that there is so much more than just techniques or getting better at your craft? Instead, we got to look inwards to see the way in which we are talking to ourselves and how this has evolved with the experience that we have with watercolor. watercolor has given me more than just beautiful flowers on my wall. It has also garnered a new sense of mindfulness where I learn to be with myself and create no matter how it looks like. With every skill that we learn comes highs and lows, and it does not change the way we should feel about ourselves. Watercolor has brought me more happiness and has taught me way more than just putting beautiful flowers in a frame. I hope that this video has changed your perspective around focusing on what's on the outside, but also noticing what's on the inside. I'd love to read your comments and answer you personally, so share with me your thoughts, your feelings, so that the community can feel united by the same narrative that holds us together. I can't wait to share with you again more next week, and until then, keep painting.